initially when you were thinking about gamification specifically and using it in like an education context, right? Were there any apps or any case studies that you were really looking to for reference and thinking, okay, if I do this, then it should be like this, and it'd be a good way to think about it? Or was it just a like being a gamer yourself, you sort of intuitively understood how to go about it?
Right. So what a lot of people don't understand about gaming is it works on a framework called Octalysis, right? So Octalysis had certain frameworks when in terms of gaming or gamifying a product. Even your Facebook do this, even Zomato do use Octalysis, Twitter, any big platform, even Facebook also use that, Instagram also. But you don't ever sense about any certain features like so in general, when people think about gamification, they see कि point like setting होंगे, games होगी, leaderboard होगा. But gamification is far more developed than that. When you move on to different levels of Octalysis, now you will understand that leaderboard, point like games, different animation is just a level one. But once you move upward to level two, level three, there are over 8 levels in Octalysis, right? And the big platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and these other big companies, they uses level 6 or level 7 Octalysis, where animation is not there, where leaderboard is not there, but there are certain factors like avoidance, sociability, unpredictability inside the platform. If you measure these platform on Octalysis framework, now you'll come to know that most of the checkbox that Octalysis ticks in terms of gamification, these platforms have that. And it's not about animation, it's not about leaderboard or stuff like that. Right. So I always had that concept. And there were some games, some platforms that like Duolingo. So Duolingo is a language learning app. So I really like how they teach people using a gamified manner, like learn any language using gamification, as simple as that. Right. So I was very fond of Duolingo at that time, and we thought, ki, how Duolingo do that? Right. That was our first question. And that's where we come to know about Octalysis also, of course. And being a gamer ourselves, we understood the dynamics of a game, how there are objectives that are placed, right? How there are certain predictability and unpredictability inside the game, right? How to tie up a user using different currencies inside the app, right? So we knew all these frameworks. I think our background helped that a lot. Even today also, we tend to play more games in order to understand the dynamics, how they hook us, right? So I think that help us start the gamification phase. But what you see now in terms of apps, when they say ki we are using gamification, these apps tend to take a lot of time to evolve, right? So if you see StockPay's first version, and now if you see StockPay, probably we have covered around 20 to 30% of the gamification that we intend to have in the product, right? It's a process. You can't be like कि अगले दिन आप उठे, the next day you woke up and you were like, hey, the gamification is done, right? Because at any point you need to have a lot of data, and to have that lot of data, you have to do a lot of experiments, right? Because so every platform which is game based now, these are category defining products. When we say category defining, people don't have a reference point in place. So let's suppose I say, Pawan, I'm building a food delivery app. So you have a ton of references in your mind. I have Swiggy, I have Zomato, I have Uber Eats, or Food Panda, or stuff like that, right? So you can compare ki, acha, if Shubham is building a food delivery app, I have to do the same following things. I have to log in, I have to see the restaurant, buy the dish, pay it, and go. Either the food will be delivered. That's the reference point that you have. Category defining products like StockPay also don't have a reference point. If I say I'm building a StockPay, you can't refer it to some other platform because there is none, right? That happened to Dream11 also. That happened to Duolingo also, right? Because people don't have a reference point. And when people don't have a reference point, you have to give them a reference point, right? So any journey, anything that you create inside your application is the first time a user is seeing it and they're adapting to it, right? So you have also seen this, a lot of competition tend to follow the same UI UX, right? It's just because people are more used to it, right? So let's suppose if our competitor is doing something in the line, although they are far bigger than us, we can just tend to follow it because now people are more aware of it, aware of the journey, right? And they've spent a ton of money actually to let people know ki, acha, this is the basic function of their company, right? So it's actually help. You can also consider this when BharatPay and Paytm was there. So Paytm put a lot of money on advertisement, creating that फाइनेंशियल अवेयरनेस कि यूपीआई है, पेमेंट कर सकते हो, वॉलेट है. भारत पे जस्ट केम, दे टुक इट बाय द स्टॉर्म, राइट?
Yeah.
बिकॉज ऑलरेडी पेटीएम ने इतना मार्केट के अंदर इन्वेस्ट कर दिया है कि भारत पे को जस्ट अपना डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सही करना है एंड एक प्रोडक्ट बनाना है जो स्केलेबल हो, राइट?
Yeah.
दैट डायनामिक स्टिल वर्क्स. Yeah, coming on the point ki I still take inspiration from Duolingo, how they gamify stuff. I take inspiration from games, core gaming aspects, because that drive the behavior inside us as a human being. And I take inspiration from psychology a lot, because games or gamification general works on psychology.
Correct.
Right? So that was my take.
Brilliant, brilliant. Glad you shared the different fields of study that also sort of come into the picture. I think that's going to be supremely useful for people to explore also, like now that they've listened to this as